I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ms. King,
Present.
Ms. Loper,
Present.
Mr. Baxter,
Present.
Ms. Sims,
Present.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson,
Present.
Ms. Armstrong,
Here.
all present.
Approve agenda we need to amend the agenda to add Consumers Energy, a resolution that we received from Consumers Energy Board members. They're gonna put a street light up on Clio Road in between Carpenter and Holmes Avenue, and it's not gonna be a cost to us. I do have it here. The attorney has looked at it. So all we have to do is when we get to that, approve it, and I signed off, and it'll be sent back to Consumers Energy on tomorrow. So I need a motion to amend the agenda to approve.
I make a motion to amend and approve the agenda for board meeting January 8th, 2024 to add the Consumers Energy Resolution, and also under new business, the second bubble or addition where it says Fire Station 1, it should say Fire Station 3 to request to hire Dewan and Jordan Ranger. Dewan Bolson, I'm sorry, Junior and Jordan Ranger.
I support it.
Questions? Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
Mr. Baxter,
Yes.
Ms. Sims,
Yes.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Approve minutes from board meeting December the 11th, 2023.
Support.
Questions? Hearing none, we call for the vote.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
Mr. Baxter,
Yes.
Ms. Sims,
Yes.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Okay, approve minutes for special meeting for December the 20th, 2023.
So move.
Support.
Questions? Hearing none, we call for the vote.
Mr. Baxter, Ms. Sims,
Yes.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Okay, approve payment of the bills for December the 7th, 2023 through January the 9th, 2024 in the amount of $821,428.05.
I so move.
Support.
Any questions? Hearing none, we call for the vote.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
Baxter,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're down to public comments on the items on the agenda only.
I'm sorry.
Public comments on the agenda items only, the items that's on the agenda. Mr. Green, yes. State your name and address, please.
Good evening, Board. I'm Larry Green. I live at 3376 Westmont Avenue. I see on the agenda that you are looking at purchasing a truck for Station 1. I assume it's a fire truck contract,
Yes,
and you're going to pay roughly $650,000 for that truck?
yes,
And you're planning on financing it over 7 years for 6% interest?
that would be something, Mr. Holmes, can you attest that, because I don't have all that information in front of me? That is correct, that's correct.
The millage that was passed by the residents of the township to be used for the fire department was 3 mills. That should generate roughly just under $1 million a year. The budget for each fire department is roughly $235,000, which means there's a surplus of about 270 grand a year, which means the past 4 years, there should be close to $1 million there. Enough to pay cash for the fire department. How much money is left in that fire fund?
That's a question I can't answer, but I believe Mr. Holmes can answer that, the finance director. Can you please take the mic so that everyone can hear you, sir?
I like standing next to you. The 22-23 audit concluded with a fund balance of the fire fund. Mr. Green is nearly correct, of about $1.1 million is in our audit from Yo at 3/31/23.
So you can pay cash instead of financing, and save the township $250,000.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Any more public comments on the agenda items? Hearing none, we move forward. Adoption of ordinance 2023-03, that's the marijuana ordinance. I think this is our second reading. Board members, what's your pleasure?
I so move to approve the second reading.
Support.
Any questions on it? Hearing none, we call for the vote.
Myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Loper.
Yes.
Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Election request purchase security card in the amount of $1,801.74. I saw that, and Dwayne, can you explain to us what this is, and is it something we have to have?
Yeah, it's one of the things that I was just talking to Mr. Clemens about some of the things that we had, and but this security card will come in handy when we have our ballots with this new Prop 22, and us having to lock up the ballots and stuff like that every night. They recommend that we have one of these, and that's what we're doing, having a security card, so we can lock up things.
So
At the
is it,
state that's recommending that,
Or is
clerk.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
because I know when I spoke to him, he said some stuff was optional. So when you spoke to him, he said that you needed this?
Yep.
Okay.
I so move.
Okay, so you're talking, they're both separate things, or this just has the wheels on it, the same car?
Same card.
Okay.
It's different diagram.
Support.
Okay. Any more questions or concerns? Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Loper.
Yes.
Ms. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Fire Station 3 request to hire Dewan Boyson Jr. and Jordan Ranger.
Good evening, Board. How are
Good
you?
evening.
I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Dewan Boystow Jr. and Mr. Jordan Ranger. Both these applicants have applied for Fire Station number 3. Neither one of these guys are certified at this time, but they are available to take the next fire academy. They have been showing interest, coming up to our meetings and our trainings for the past month now. So I'm requesting your approval to hire both these gentlemen for Fire Station 3.
So moved.
Support.
Question. So when does the training start for them?
The next available academy is going to be next year. Or it'd be this year, probably in October. They're just finishing up the last year's academy, which will be ending in March. So in October would be the next available academy.
Just have a comment. I just want to say thank you. It's commendable to be wanting to be a fire. Mhm.
Any more questions or concerns? Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Loper.
Yes.
Ms. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Mhm, welcome aboard. Okay, we're down to Fire Station 2 request to repair 2016 Dodge Ram in the amount of $4,444.51.
This is the Dodge Ram that we received from the police department. I give you guys the information, the picture, because most of us never seen it. Besides me, being on the road with a police officer. After having the cylinder, the new coil put on the cylinder, to realize that it made it run worse, to find out they took off I'm not a mechanic. They took off the valve cover to find out that there was lifters that wasn't moving. So the lifters were bad. And to replace the whole top end of the motor is $4,000 with a year warranty or 12,000 miles. So I picked it up from Muffler Man and went by Randy Weiss to have it appraised. And they're saying with a good motor, that truck is worth about $20,000. It's on the second page. A rough book is 15. In the third page, he offered $4,000 for the truck and told me that he would have the motor fixed from their company and put it on their lot. Cause he says, why throw a truck away that's worth $20,000 for $4,000 repair? So I got all the information. The fourth page is the estimate from them with the warranty. And I do have it in my cost recovery according to the paper I received. I spent 23,000 out of 60, so there should be $4,000 left in cost recovery for Station 2 to repair this vehicle.
And I'm
So-
sorry, what is the warranty for how long?
12,000 miles or 12 months.
So, and my question, the truck, will it be your truck, personal truck?
Well, it'd be the fire chief vehicle for that station. Yes,
Okay, fire chief's vehicle, personal vehicle.
yes.
When you say personal vehicle, what do you mean?
Well, I'm not using a person. It's for I'm on call. The three chiefs are on call 24/7. So yeah, it'll be at home so I can respond to fires instead of using my personal Buick all the time.
So you're gonna be getting the township gas for that truck?
Well, that's all got to be discussed.
That's where I was gonna go with
Yes,
that. You're
yes.
already in a situation
We
now
sure are.
with township gas, and that would be somewhat no different. You just riding around waiting for a call. to
Well, I
happen.
wouldn't be riding around. I'm more.
No, no,
I
I'm
spend
just
more
using
time
that-
up here, right?
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
just
you
using
are.
that, how the contact is always presented to us. It's
Right,
always
right.
spent. So.
The three chiefs are pretty much just like the detectives that's on the road. We're on call 24/7.
So it's the supervisor.
Well, there you go.
If I can
That's why I'm
remind,
not buying a new car or didn't ask for a new car. I'm asking for an old one that's used.
I can remind our board members, we have a company that is waiting to put these kind of policies in place.
Right.
I have asked, I've emailed, what kind of, what policies? I have got crickets. So that's what we need to do. That is what they're doing, giving us policies that will be in compliance to the federal government, to the bylaws and things of that nature. So if we can, I will send out an email to her and if we can chime in so we know what that looks like, not just for this board, for moving forward and
Right.
making sure we're in regulations. That's the route we need to go. We're paying these people to do that, and that's what we need to do instead of us trying to figure out what it looks like. We can have a true policy so everybody will know what it looks like.
Mhm.
So if they see somebody in it, we'll all know and we'll all be on the same page.
Right.
So what
But like I say,
about-
this is something, when we do cost recovery, these vehicles, the past years, my vehicle is being charged to whoever the accident scene or whatever is $125 per chief's vehicle. So the township gets their money even from my vehicle, from Scott's or Jaybirds. So it's being billed to the people that we have the fires to. So,
It's just my only concern is that, Supervisor Sim is getting heat from what you just mentioned about the vehicle or non-vehicle being used for the gas. And that would create that same kind of conflict that, and I understand what you were saying is that you're on call 24/7, but we take calls throughout the community as well. But I know you were from an emergency standpoint, but we got to put this in context and air it all out. But
So that's why she was saying policy. So I would think I'm not saying table it, you want to purchase and fix it, but then we still need to come back and do a.
We're
We're just
discuss
waiting on
policy.
us
Yeah.
to tell. That's
So
what
if
I'm
you want-
saying. We can
if
come
you
up
got
with
the
a
money
real
to
good
purchase, we
policy.
can purchase. But as far as how it's gonna be done, we need to come back and
When you say
Visit
what,
that.
Right.
how what is going to be done, the gasoline?
who's
Right.
who's gonna belong to the gasoline, I mean, just everything.
Would it belong to the township, I would
right.
assume.
Well,
The vehicle's going to belong to the township,
Of
right?
course.
But the governance
Like they
of
say, like
where,
the
if it
first-
goes home, how's the gas and that type of thing. And that's a policy
That's part
that,
of the policy.
policy
yeah.
that we're trying to work
Mhm.
to make sure that we have correct policies.
Chief, can you answer this? You use your own personal
We all
vehicle
do.
now.
Yeah.
As of right now, that's what you do. Do you put in for gas? Do you
We was
request?
getting gas 40 gallons a month, and that's
Right.
all stopped.
Right.
We
until this
supply
policy-
the wear and tear on the vehicles. We supply oil changes. We supply everything on our own personal vehicles, and they set out in the middle of the road blocking traffic off
Right,
to relieve the police officers to go do what they have to do.
right.
In the meantime, we are billing. I've just built the accident scene on 75 with a semi. We was there for 5 hours. My vehicle sat there and run for 5 hours, and I billed them $125 per hour that this township's going to get for my car being there.
Right.
You know, so like I say, yes, I might be getting, if I get gas for this vehicle, it's still relieving the police cars to go, they can go do their jobs.
It's been recovered already
Right, and
through
it's being
insurance.
recovered as it goes.
Thank you.
So we just need to come up with policies, as you say.
Yeah, it just needs a policy
Okay.
after that.
So
But
we can, for you to purchase and.
Well, it
fix
needs to
with
have
us,
it
so we
fixed,
can do
right.
that. But as far as moving forward, we'll
Pause that move.
pause that, yeah.
We'll
Right.
pause the gas
Until
until we
we-
get
and all of
policy.
that.
Until we can get the policy and procedures done. I think we
Yes.
just,
Right.
we can fix it and let it sit up somewhere.
Because what this body has to do is come up with how I'm gonna be compensated with going to visit the residents and going to meetings and going here and going there with my personal vehicle, okay? Okay, so, the motion is, we have a motion and a support?
I make a motion to pay to have the 2016 Dodge Fix from Muffler Man for $4,044.
51 cents.
And you have that in your cost recovery?
Yes.
Support.
Any more questions for Mr. Wilson? Hearing none, we call for the vote?
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
Mr. Baxter,
Yes.
Ms. Sam,
Yes.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're down to Fire Station 2, resignation of Kyle Kitty. Is that the same?
Kyle Kent.
Kent.
Yeah, he was from Station 2. We hired him probably a little over a year ago. Since then, he was doing good, but then he put in for a job at State Farm, writing claims for people, and they're sending him all over the United States, and he's just way too busy, but he's got a good job. So he says, I just don't have the time to do it. And I give him from probably July, August until the first of the year to see if things would change with his job. And they got him out of state for months at a time. So
Board members, what's your pleasure?
So move.
support.
Any more questions for Mr. Wilson? Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
Mr. Baxter,
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Police Department request to send Sergeant Brett Orvis to the police staff and command program.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm requesting to send Sergeant Brett Orvis to Northwestern University's School of Police Staff and Command. It's a 10-week program down in Troy. Basically, it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But it's everything an individual would need to further their career in police department. So for him to move up, this would help him greatly.
How long was it, Chief?
It's a 10-week program.
Thank you.
So it goes from January to April, 2 weeks. It's $4,600. And talking to Latrell, we can use the CDBG police training money for that. So
I so move to approve the request.
Support.
Any more questions for Chief? Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Loper,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to, it says YouTube broadcast policy.
So that's me. So what it was is that I've been getting so many requests or information about the YouTube us going live. Why isn't it when we use all our meetings, our subcommittee meetings or committee of the wholes, other than our regular scheduled meetings, where we're not going live? So I checked this with MTA and asked the question. I said, do we have to she said none of our meetings are actually required to go live.
Mhm.
So she did say that, but you need to have a policy in place that states which way for somebody else today, who's going to run it, where it's going to be. So I was just bringing this as a collectively, information thing to explain to the board. That's what I was reading from MTA and to pass along to you.
Okay. If you send that to me, that'll be something else. Cause she emailed me the other day and for the other policies that we want to look at. So if you send me that, we don't have to go live for every meeting.
We don't have to go live.
Okay.
And then that's Attorney John Ryan here. So it's,
Okay.
you don't have to have that for every meeting.
Right.
So if we, in this policy, if we just say that we're going to go live every regular meeting, that needs to be in writing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
that's
we'll-
all she was saying.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just FYI then.
It's FYI.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
FYI. Yeah, yeah.
And I'll send that out to her.
Okay. We're down to cyber coverage proposal in the amount of $2,860.
That comes from me as well. So, well, John Johnson, our risk management, our broker, had came to me and said that that wasn't included in that thing that he presented toward our proposal. This was left out because he was still getting some numbers in. So when he got it in, and we got, I think that Sonia got with Latrell to get the right updated numbers that we had submitted because they were off a little bit. He came back and said this will be in addition to that what we had got from John Johnson, which is 2860. So that's all it is for that cyber. The cyber piece we did have before.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I
Right.
was gonna say, I thought
We did
had
have it
that.
Yes,
before.
yes, we did.
So
Okay.
we just want to make sure we have it again. It's a little bit more than it was last year because all of our policies are going up. So this is in addition to what we had.
So this is for the 1 year also.
That's correct.
So you need a motion to.
I do.
Can I ask Latrell a question before you make the, well, you can make the motion, then we can do the question. Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the cyber coverage proposal for $2,860.
Support.
Questions, Latrell? So you're saying that we do have it? Because I know we are watching spending real close and we're spending. Okay, we're good? Okay. Hearing no more questions, let's call for the vote.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Loper.
Yes.
Mr. Baxter.
Yeah.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we have a request to transfer remaining ARPA funds to general fund allocated to police payroll, which was paid out of general fund. That was from, I don't know who it was from, but
Mr.
I
Holmes.
do know,
Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes.
This is not my agenda item. Well, first of all, good evening Supervisor Sims, Township Board and residents. This agenda item, I just want to give a little clarity to where I think it may have surfaced from. Just prior to the end of the year, Supervisor Sims and I met with Mr. Alex Patsy from the Genesee County Road Commission. We wanted to confirm that all of the road projects that we had committed to had been paid out of the ARPA dollars. As you all know, as I previously reported, that the state is allowing a little caveat, little carrot out there for us by having everything fully obligated by December 31st, 2023. As the bills were coming in, the deputy clerk and I discovered that a lot of them were coming in a little lower, or appeared to be coming in a little lower than what we had budgeted in opera for road projects. At the scheduled meeting with Mr. Patsy, I requested that he take back each and every one of the projects and provide us indeed what the final costs were and able to capture if we did in fact owe them any money. As you know, that we did 19 road projects. Out of those 19, 11 of them came back a little lower than what we budgeted. Consequently, out of the $1,282,774,000 that was allocated for opera projects, there's $167,303 available for reallocation or for continuation of road projects, whatever the board's desire is. Coupled with that, I've also discovered that we came in lower than what we were projecting for the exit door. We budgeted $18,500 for the exit door. Purvis Construction billed $14,200 for that. So that's another $4,300. It appears that there's $171,503 available to be continued in the board's preferred manner for opera projects. There was I guess I'll stop right there because the other goes to the next agenda item. But again, 167,000 has been reported in my reports to the Federal Department of Treasury and both the state. It also is on our website for the residents that we had allocated and budgeted for road projects. And so the 167 right now is sitting in road projects. The other is sitting in the township halls, maintenance or repair line. I believe that's where this may have surfaced from there. So outside of that, I don't have any other context to give you.
I would like to see us transfer this from ARPA or allocate it from ARPA to the general fund to cover police wages. Then that would free up that amount in the general fund. Our general fund is slowly diminishing. And I'm not looking at anything else coming into this township for almost the foreseeable year, except taxes and revenue sharing. And we can't judge how much taxes we're going to be able to collect. Revenue sharing, they give us an estimate. Sometimes we hit it, sometimes we don't. But my point is, we've got to watch our cash, and it's very low right now. And if you want to come to my office, I'll be glad to let you show you the figures. And Mr. Holmes will tell you the bank account is dwindling. And we need this cash in that general fund. So that's my recommendation.
I have a question. How much would it free up for the general fund if we allocated it? You said you'd like to see it go toward what we're already
Well,
spending.
we have to tell ARPA, he has to report where we're reallocating it to. And I'm saying we could say it would cover police wages and we could apply to that. That means what we would have spent for the police wages will be freed up to use for something else. We just paid $243,000 for insurance. I mean, that's a killer.
I agree. I'm just asking, do you have a ballpark figure of how much it's going to free up? Do you,
No, it would free
Latrell?
up the same amount we put
Well,
in.
the number right
Okay,
now
that's
is
what
a,
Okay, it's replacing. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I thought you had a specific amount that,
It would-
okay. So we're going to free up the $167,303 that's already in the
Right.
general fund. Okay, I'm, okay.
I just want to make a statement. Board members, remember we sat down months ago with the residents and we told them that we were going to fix roads and do roads project. That money that was a part of the road project, and it still is. There are 3 roads, and for some reason, I think it should have been on the agenda up right along with this, but it got put at the end of the agenda. Instead, it should have been right along with this one here. But anyway, it got put it's the last thing. We submitted Katy Drive because we sat down with Alec Passy and the road commission. When we found out this money, I said, we have some roads that we can fix. Can you give me the worst one? The worst one he say we have is Katy Drive. He say, then the second one, we looked at Aretha Court, I think it is, off Judith Ann. And the other one is Pearson Place. And it's off Pearson Road across from Home Depot between, I think it's Pearson Road and it's Hamady Street. Those are really bad roads. Those are really bad areas. That road sits in front of is it the Mathis gas station? And the residents over there is really complaining. My thing is, if this is road project money, it was there for the roads. No matter what, we still would have to pay the police. This stuff would still be done. If that money wasn't there, we would still be getting this done. Now, the residents expected for us to take care of them with this road money, with the ARPA funding. So I'm just letting you all know, I think this needs to stay in the roads. We need to get those 3 roads taken care of. And once that's done, it's done. But it's for you guys got to be the one to look in the faces of the Mount Morris Township residents,
Well, I
just
think-
as well as I do, to let them know what we're going to do. Okay, but of course, sure, we want our policemen paid. They're gonna be paid. It's nothing saying they're not gonna be paid. The money is there and it was there for road projects. It needs to stay in the road projects.
Well, I remember myself in Mrs. Loper went riding around through the whole area, Mount Morris Township, and way out by Elms Road. And we went through the roads and decided we all as a group to only do certain parts of the road that actually needs to be done to try to save money to put it elsewhere.
Right.
We've already spent, last time I knew, minus probably this year, was over $1 million in roads.
Yes.
I do know now in the last 2 weeks, we have a bridge out here that people walk across through their training and it's falling apart and somebody fell and I understand and they might have broke their leg. Don't know
Yes.
for sure yet, but that needs to be fixed. We have parking lots in all the complexes, fire departments, everything that's never been cool sealed to seal them from freezing and breaking and or the parking lots are falling apart. We drove around and me and Mrs. Sims also drove around and decided to do not the whole mile stretch, only what actually needed to be done to save money. But we need other things done besides to keep completely
That's true.
redoing roads.
Well, I do know the Hamity, the Pearson Lane, I think from Pearson Road to Hamity is just a small section. It's right there by the Mathis gas station. It's just a small section. The residents live over there are really complaining. Then the residents off Katy Drive, it would be from Detroit Street all the way, I think, to where maybe Beecher Schools, before you come into the, it'll stop there because that portion of the road, I think, a section of it belongs to the county. So it's not that you're fixing the whole road, you're only fixing what's bad. But I've made my statement. It's left up to the body, but it's in ARPA fund. It's there for the roads. I think that's where
Well,
it
we
needs to
didn't
stay.
really put it for the
no,
roads.
yeah,
can I,
It was-
that's
No,
what I
but we-
want to, that's what I want to make sure I'm understanding. It's my recollection that we did put it for roads, but they were specific roads
Mhm.
and, well, and specific prices. And now they're coming back a
Like
little bit cheaper.
cheaper.
So we have this surplus of money that we need to utilize
We
and
have
to allocate.
reallocate. The
We-
state
to
says we have to
reallocate.
reallocate.
So
I just
it
think we
doesn't
need to be
necessarily
very,
have to be for roads.
That's correct.
Doesn't necessarily have to be for roads if we've already covered the roads that we reported to the government that we were going to cover.
Well, we have.
I want to add another statement to it, and then if I may answer your question. The roads that Supervisor Sims did bring up that are on the latter part of the agenda, all three of those roads total $110,000, so it would not encumber all of this balance that's left. There would still be some dollars left. I just wanted to make that as a point for your consideration. The opera dollars that this township received, we received them for general operations. They could be used for anything, general operations. All $2.2 million could have been put in the general fund from day one and utilized for general government operations. That's the purview that we received the dollars on and the dollars that and the manner that they are being reported and will be reported. The final report will just have to indicate where these actual expenditures happen. So do it has to be road? It does not have to be road. But again, I don't know if it was cognizance of you all what the dollar amount of the three roads that are on the agenda would actually total, because that could still do both things, a lesser amount. That transfer that we're trying to relieve for the police department is a $2.1 million transfer there at this point there. And so, to be able to see some relief of that would be good, absolutely. But, I'll stop there.
I think we did make the statement that we're going to use it on the roads, but that was before our insurance carrier decided that they were going to drop us, and then we had an increase in premium. I did drive all these roads, and the Katy Road is bad. But I think if we move the money and we can come back at a later date, to wait to see what's going to happen with the bridge, wait to see what's going to happen with possibly another lawsuit to the township,
yes.
and leave that money. And then, if it's in the general fund, we can utilize it there. And then if it don't need to utilize it, these bids are through the 2024 year.
Right.
We can always come back to it in a few months if we don't get sued or the leg's not broke. I mean, when you go on that bridge, it's still closed off on the north side of it. The supports underneath, they got about the two of them have a 30-degree lean. So at some point they need to be brought back and secured. So, because eventually that whole thing's going to shift to the north, and hopefully, if you get 10 people on it walking across, if you go out there and look at it, because after I heard that somebody got hurt, I went out and looked at it, and I took some pictures, because I didn't know like where they got hurt, but that I did notice that project's there. Who knows how much it'll cost? The bridge might have to be removed. I mean, it might cost too much to fix it, or those supports might be able to come back. So I would feel safe to just moving the money, transfer it somewhere where we can come at a later date, be able to come back. But, I mean, I'd like to fix all the roads in Mount Morris Township. Katy Drive is like driving on the moon, and I think that would utilize everybody going to the high school. And I'd like to keep this money, secure it for a while. If we need to use it at Katy Drive in 5 months, 6 months, then this bid spec is through the 2024 year.
That's true.
So it's just, that's my thought.
So you recommended that we take the money and just allocate it toward the general fund and not necessarily toward the police, just have it in there to see where we need it the most?
I mean, the other concern that I have, and Mr. Holmes may ask, now, the state of Michigan, because we allocated all our money and we used up our ARPA money, that we're gonna get a 2%, I think a 2% kickback, did this mess that up?
No.
So.
No, we've reported
Well,
that,
sure,
no,
yeah.
we have reported, in fact, Treasurer and I was looking at that today. We actually reported to the state according to their mandate, in a timely manner to tell them that it all has been obligated based on what this board had done previously there. Where the amendment would come in would be my next quarterly report that's due April 30th to the federal government, and a subsequent report that'll be due in the summer of 24 of this year there. So that's where we really have to be more descriptive and very, very, very descriptive of what we're utilizing these dollars for.
If we moved it into the general fund, and then if we put it there, and if we need it for the police department, we can transfer it there. Or then if we need to fix Katy Drive or code seal the parking lots, can you allocate the $106,000 approximately into the general fund? That's ARPA money to be utilized in township property.
Yes, yeah, again, that was the reason we got it for general government operations. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What amount?
I mean, it's 160.
It's 167.
Plus
Yes,
4,300.
it's actually 107. It's approximately 171.5 there.
I did, but I lost it that fast. I'm sorry.
Well, I just know that the economy is not good. People are having a problem paying their taxes. We can't guarantee that, how much taxes we're going to receive. And whatever we get by the end of February is all we're going to get until June 1st. And if they pay at the county, we'll get that from the county June 1st. And that's it for the rest of the year. We have to live on that until the next time in December when taxes are issued again.
I remember what I wanted to ask, if I can, Latrell. The allocation that the state's going to get, or the government's going to give us that for spending or allocating it all, what is that amount? And when would we expect that?
We'll make sure I'm understanding which part. Are you referring to the road projects that?
Well, I'm
we requested?
referring to the entire fund because we have it allocated. We were going to get a 2%.
Mhm.
Has that already been given to us?
No,
And how
they'll
much
start
is
paying that. No, they'll start paying that. It's actually, it's a real small carrot, 2% of the $2 million. So roughly,
Am I-
yeah. We're not going to get more than
20,000.
about
Oh,
20,000,
yeah.
not even
Okay.
that much.
Not
Ain't quite
enough to
that
do
much,
these
no.
roads.
Not
Okay.
enough not enough
Okay.
to touch the roads at all there. And they actually still working on a formula for that too. So that's a moving target there with that. As it relates to the state though, we did, as you all know, make a request to Senator Cherry and Representative Martis for some support to the tone of $1.5 million for 15 road projects. Those three that are being recommended are three of those 15 road projects that could potentially put us in a better position to get that state funding if we put some of that off. But that's just an editorial comment for your consideration, not other than that.
I would
What's the motion?
like to make a motion that we take the surplus ARPA money, the $171,503 to transfer, to put it, allocate it into the general fund to be used. I don't know how to perfectly word it, to use for ARPA projects in the township general business at a later date. Whether it's police, I just don't know how on the ARPA fund. So
I think
just-
general government
just-
operations
just
would
our
probably
general
be.
government operations.
Support.
Any more questions? board members? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Sloper.
Yes.
Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
Mr. Sims.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to supervisor request the reappointment for Mr. Bertie Shields to zoning and planning. Board members, Mr. Shields' term is up and I'm requesting that we, bring him back to the planning and zoning, for another term.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Questions?
I just have one, and nothing against Mr. Shields. I don't even really know the man. But I know other people have asked to come back for new terms and you wouldn't allow it. So why now are we doing that?
Because I'm the supervisor and I get to choose my commissioner.
And we have to vote on it for you to get them.
Okay, so let's call for the vote.
Okay. My vote's no.
Any more?
Well,
any more
yeah,
questions? Call
you
for the
know,
vote.
I've been
Okay,
on the
go ahead.
planning commission and stuff, and Mr. Shields has always been there, and he always seemed to real be interested in what was going on. There is some that's been on there that hardly shows up, or you can tell that they just now reading their paperwork in front of them,
Mhm.
where they should know it prior to coming into the meeting.
That's true.
And
Well, I'm on the planning commission and Mr. Shields is there on a regular basis. And more importantly, like Chief said, he comes prepared. He comes knowing what we're going to be talking about. He asks pertinent questions. I don't see a reason to remove him.
Well, as I said, there's nothing against him, but others have asked to and she wouldn't allow it. That's just why I'm asking. What is
Any
the
more
difference?
questions or concerns? Hearing none, let's call for the vote.
Mr. Wilson.
yes,
Ms. Armstrong.
No.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Loper.
Yes.
Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries 6-1.
Request to add
Yeah, data drops.
the data, for the data drops for the police department in the amount of $4,075.
I think that's for signing for upgrading the system software within the police department.
Yes. Mhm.
Basically, Sonia said in our front office.
Can we get you to stand up to the mic so people can hear you?
So I didn't know what any of this was, and then I had to talk to Sonia. So basically, in our detective bureau, the front office, and the sergeant's office, and even our patrol room, every computer is plugged into the same outlet, you would say, I guess. So according to Sonia, everywhere else in the building, every computer has its own data drop or whatever you want to call it. So that's why in the police department, we're having constant issues with the computer and the server and everything. And she said, with these upgrades, it'll fix all that and we won't have any
it's
more issues.
overloading the system.
Yeah,
and
basically.
dropping them.
Talking to, Latrell and Supervisor Sims, we can pay for this out of our drug forfeiture account, so no issue.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
I so move.
Support.
Word.
Any questions for the chief? He's sitting down now. Okay, let's move forward for the vote.
Okay, Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King. Ms.
Yes.
Sloper.
Yes.
Ms. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
We're down to Fire Station 1, contract for truck. For the fire truck, I'm gonna allow Mr. Hilliman, Latrell as well, to stand so that Mr. Hilliman, you can kind of tell the board about your truck and what this is, and then Latrell from the finance part of it, you can take it from there. Scott.
Good evening, board residents.
Good evening.
The reason I'm bringing this to you is our engine 11 is 30 years old. We had the motor redone in it, the top half of it, roughly 4 years ago. We spent $26,000. And from that time, we've started having more problems. Recently, the truck is now starting to use 2 gallons of antifreeze a month, and it's burning oil. We've taken and talked to Detroit Diesel, the diesel dealer in Saginaw, and they're pretty much said there's nothing more they can do with the truck. It's 30 years old. They don't even have parts. Some of the parts that they put on the truck were just remanufactured parts that they were able to find at the junkyard and mill them down, the heads and so on and so forth. So I start talking to Latrell and asking what we can do in the future to replace that truck. And in that time frame, this truck that is, in question was a stock truck that was brought in by Frontline. Does our repair to our trucks. And they ordered this truck 2 years ago just for a stock truck to sell off. And it came in at 659,000. And I asked at that time, I said, okay, if we can't do something now, what would it be? And, if we was to spec it out, the same exact truck, and it's like 824,000 price now. So we're getting a pretty good deal on the truck. That's why I'm trying to bite on it as quick as we can. I can't answer any of the questions about the financing because that goes to the big man. At this point, I don't feel comfortable with our guys going in the truck. We're hoping to get 12 back by the end of this month. It was just waiting to get painted so I can pull that truck off the road for a while because you start it up and it smokes the entire building up. So
May I ask a few questions about the truck?
Yeah.
What's the size of the pumper?
what do you mean the
What
size?
does it, how big is the tank? What is it?
It's a 1,000-gallon tank,
Okay,
1250 pump.
okay.
It's got 51,000 miles, 51,545 miles on it. And it's got over 4,000 running hours.
Is this larger? I mean, as far as the tank and all, is it larger than the one we've had previously?
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, the new one is 1,000-gallon and it's got a 1,550-gallon per minute pump. It's a bigger pump.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
What about the layout of the cab? Is it larger, roomier than the one?
Roomier, yes.
Okay,
Yes, much roomier.
okay.
It
'Cause I know-
actually,
I know sometimes when you get in and
Mhm.
with your paraphernalia.
Yeah.
You need more room to move around, or if you
Right.
take some of it off, what about the
Paraphernalia?
storage? Well, I don't know what else
Turn
to
out
call
air
it. but,
air
Um,
tanks.
for any of the board members that want to see the truck, they're bringing it down Wednesday night for us to look at 7 p.m. You guys are more than welcome to come to Fire Station 1 to look at it. It's
It'll be inside.
in Freeland. It will be
So-
inside, but
Couple more, I'm sorry, couple more questions. Does it have heat and air?
Mhm.
Because you need both of those,
Mhm.
I know.
that's a standard option
Yeah.
in all
okay,
new trucks
okay.
now.
I just want to be sure.
And it
we're
also
getting everything
has
for our
a-
money.
System that will actually charge all our radio batteries, all our batteries for our fans, our truck, or our
Okay.
portable stuff, and so on and so forth.
What about the storage?
There's quite a bit of storage.
Good
on it.
storage,
Yeah,
okay,
there's
all right.
huge.
I just want to be sure that you're getting everything you need.
Yeah,
If we're gonna
yeah. I mean,
spend this kind of money.
I've had all my officers, go through it, the bid specs and everything, and they're pretty ecstatic
Okay,
that there's
Right.
going to be quite a bit of room. Originally, we were only going to be a 4-man cab. I didn't agree with the 4-man cab and overruled all of them. It needs to be a 6-man cab because if we need to go with 6 people to
Right.
a house fire, not just
okay,
4.
that's great.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
any more
Latrell?
questions?
Oh, I don't, any more for Scott? Latrell, for the
The important
finance
question-
part of it?
Sorry,
What's
Big
that?
part.
sorry, I'm sorry. The important question, what color is it?
It's red. Red and white. I got pictures of the truck. If anybody wants to see them after, I can show you.
Okay, Latrell, tell us how we're gonna pay for this.
So the company that is financing this truck is Community First National Bank. They're out of Manhattan, Kansas. They are a partner with Frontline and Wendy Simon, who was a very, very, very pleasant salesperson to work with. They proposed 3 manners to finance this, both a 5, 7, and a 10-year term. It's my recommendation that we pursued a 7-year financing package, which has actually been preliminary approved at the bank level. I also would ask for the board's approval to put $59,000 down towards the purchase of the vehicle. That would lower the principal down to $600,000, and it also would fix the percentage rate for the life of the loan there. The term of the installment is a 1-year annual payment that would be scheduled for April. We could actually move that a little further into the calendar if the board's desire to capture the tax collection period, but I believe April is a good time there. And at if indeed you approve the $59,000 down, that would be annual yearly payments of $87,348. The, again, that would be yearly. The millage, as was mentioned by former supervisor, Mr. Green, certainly has the ability to satisfy this on an annual basis. And for that matter, we actually could purchase this vehicle. He was absolutely right. We could purchase it outright. That would not be my recommendation, though, because of some of the things we actually have heard throughout this meeting. We do not know the state of the economy going forward and the ability to collect taxes. Who's going to pay those taxes? I have seen in my 2 fiscal years here an increase in delinquent taxes there. So that would be one of the reasons why I would not recommend paying full price for this write-off. The terms, as was reviewed by our attorney, does allow us to pay early with no penalty. So should the years get better as we go forward, as I believe they will, it certainly would be my recommendation at that time to put some larger payments down, if not satisfy this entire installment loan. I do believe that it's a good situation for the township, something that we can aptly afford in our current situation. And any other questions?
Well, I'm sorry. I don't have a question, but I know we discussed it.
Mhm.
And I am in favor of paying the $59,000 down. If you have the money, we should do that. That'll cut the payment down to $87,348, which does not include interest. But still, it's lowering that principal payment. The first payment's not due till 4/1/25.
Thank you.
There will be a new board in here at that time. And at that time, that board can decide, hey, we want to try to pay this off sooner, we pay more each month or whatever. I mean, that would be their decision. But I definitely think we need to pay that down.
Board members, you have heard from Mr. Holmes, you have heard from Mr. Hillerman, and what is your pleasure? Motion.
I want to thank you for addressing the questions that Mr. Green had, because that way I didn't have to ask you to. Appreciate it.
Mr. Baxter, did you have
It was a
something?
question, Mr. Holmes, but I don't know, so what would say if we paid half of it down? So we have it was stated earlier, $1.1 million in the fire fund. But right now, if we don't put the $59 down, we're gonna pay $169,244.34 in interest over 7 years at 564, I think. I didn't find it. But I mean, that,
5.69.
so if we put even half down, we could pay half that interest, probably a little more when you, amortization chart. That would have paved our roads or do other things that we do. If the funds are there, that's coming in on a millage. So even if 80%, if 20% of people don't pay taxes, if 80% comes in, it's generating, I think it was stated, $247,000 a station per year. So even at 80%, say 200,000, we could pay for half the truck, order it. The benefit, that's what I think we've done in the last couple of trucks. We talked a little bit earlier that we accumulated the money and then bought the
And pay
truck.
cash.
Those
Yeah.
trucks were around, I think, 821. Another one was $850,000. And this is a good deal, but then we're still paying $828,000 for the truck. I guess the question is, if we put half down and we save half that in interest, it's just the amortization of the payments will change. The benefit of having this is we get the truck right away. We don't have to wait 3 years for them to build it. So that's a windfall. And I would like to, if we can extend the windfall to a cost savings to the residents of the township, since we have the funds. So
I would fully expect Treasurer to support the statement. The current cash flow, I think would be my concern with putting that large of an outlay. We just put a huge outlay of nearly $250,000 out for that insurance. That's a huge outlay of cash. There has been some incidents that have happened unexpectedly around the municipality. I certainly note that the fire fund is restricted to fire operations, but I am aware right now, as Chief Hillerman would speak, there are some other needs. There are air compressor that's need, the doors at one of the station there is in need of. So I just would, I understand that, and certainly the numbers would work, but I don't think the timing fits that huge of an outlay. What I would attach to that suggestion is perhaps we put the $59,000 now, look maybe at a quarter or so down the road and put another larger piece down prior to the first payment being due in April of 25. There, I think that may bump into the same outcome that your numbers, your rough estimate there did. But to put out that large of an outlay right now, I would.
I mean, I was just, me personally, I like to pay things off.
I understand. Absolutely, absolutely.
think that's what I do.
Yeah, but
Absolutely,
you gotta put it in the layaway.
absolutely. It's-
So, I would like board members for us to go with the recommendation of the finance director. If even Mrs. Armstrong said, you know, she would agree to his recommendation. So board members, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the fire department station one contract for the truck, and also put a down payment for 59,000 and pay on it on the annual basis of $87,348.
Support.
Any more questions for Mr. Holmes and Mr. Holman? If none, let's call for the vote, Ms. Allen.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Loper, Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims,
Yes.
myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Armstrong.
Yes.
Motion carries. 7-0.
Okay, so board members, we're down to the opera
Thank you.
projects, but
Thank you
apparently,
very much.
I'm sorry.
You.
So we're
Thank
just
you.
going to not even go there because we've already taken care of the opera project. It's not gonna be done due to the finances.
Or just information.
So we can just say that's for FYI, that those roads are there to be done. Okay, finance director report.
Consumers Energy.
Oh, I'm sorry, board members,
Oh,
no,
right.
Consumers Energy, the resolution for Consumers Energy,
I make a motion to approve the consumers energy resolution.
support. Any questions? Let's call for the vote.
Ms. Loper.
Yes.
Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
Ms. Sims.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Finance Director.
Thank you. Good evening again, everyone. Report very, very quick. The opera discussion actually lends to my comment. I have been speaking with our auditor, Mr. Roca, regarding opera and our cash situation. He has made himself available to come out, spend some days with us, do some pre-audit prep and look at this whole opera situation as it is vexing a lot of municipalities. And with this huge transfer now, I actually would like his oversight to make sure that we nail this correctly there. So I'm asking the board if they would allow us to bring him in. I'm not sure of his availability next week, but he did say before the month was out that he would like to come out and just sit with me a couple of days to look at a couple of things and to discuss now, especially this opera. He had a lot of questions himself about opera there. I have sent him some information there that he also wants to come and be able to access BSNA to address there. Along with that,
How much?
Yeah. you can say
well, he did not give us a price. He did say that it would not be that, I mean, he got the information. He said it would be, I want to use his word. He said we both would do an exhaustive look at opera and our cash for a long time. The township's cash reconciliation process has needed some retooling there. And so this would be a part of that. It will lessen the expense of the audit on this side of there. So I don't have a number. I can get you a number there. I can get you a minimum hours. I just didn't want to team up without you all knowing that this was a possibility. I talked to the treasurer about it, but hadn't really spoke to you all as a board there. So that's request. I don't know if I need a motion for that.
We'll be.
So I get a number,
Yeah, we
again,
we need it done. We need it done, and if we're gonna save on the back end,
definitely will save on the back end.
okay.
Definitely will save him back. And actually, this was something him and I agreed with last year, that he would come out prior to the audit engagement because there was such a focus on the amount of expenses. He and Jamie and I did speak at our Fall Institute up at Boeing. She was very, very adamant that this round, we will try to keep the costs low. And one of the way that they suggested was to come out before the actual audit engagement to do some things. So this would have happened even if we didn't do this ARPA. Well, my request would have been made, I should say.
Clerk Allen and I don't always agree, but we need a number.
Yeah, I don't have, I absolutely have no problem getting that. I'll find out. I'm just not sure if he's gonna have one, but I will find out that.
Okay.
My
so maybe
second,
if he can, give us like how many hours,
Okay.
that he would come in and, he has to know something.
Yeah.
So if he can give us maybe, he gonna come in and say, work with you a couple hours a day or whatever, we need to know approximately, yeah.
Busy said a day, but
Okay.
I'll
He
make
said
sure.
one day, okay.
I'll make sure to get some clarity for that for you. Coupled with that, we need a finance committee. I have not had an opportunity to talk to you all since we changed the structure from finance committee to a committee of the whole. As we go forward into this last quarter of this fiscal year, you've heard a few of the things that are some concerns. I do have a couple of others that I would like to discuss with you all as a committee about. There, particularly as we approach the negotiation round with the police unions, just need to, we need to sit down and
I'll send out an
and talk.
email tomorrow and have put some dates out there, board members, and then we'll come together and figure out what date we would like to meet and have a committee of the whole.
final thing is for the public, the final allocations for the CDBG round have been approved, preliminary approved by the county. They did make some adjustments to what the board recommended. They deemed a couple of projects that the board wanted to support as not being eligible. Those projects will be on our website for you all to view. And so I just wanted to let the public to know that those are decided and will soon be in contractual form for the 25 through 27 year.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're down to public comments. On our public comments, we have 3 minutes for your coming, step into the podium so they could hear you. Give your name and address, please.
My name is Beatrice Westbrook. I live 2218 Base Road, Morris Township. And my first question is addressed to Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen, I received my application for my ballot, absentee ballot, yes. And I filled it out. I got ready to put it into my envelope. And my envelope is glued tight. I've been in this township 53 years. I have never received an envelope that was glued. Look at it. Pass it around, please. Glued. I tried to open it up, but if I open it up, I can't put it back in there because I can't send it in. I can't send it back that way. I have not, that's tampering. Somebody tampered with that. That is purposely, I call everybody on my street and asked them, have you received your absentee ballot? Is yours glued? They said, no, mines are not glued.
This was the letter inside the envelope.
This was the letter that I have to put my ballot.
True, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's just, I don't know if it's moisture or something that got it.
No,
sealed
that's
it.
no more. That's glued tight. Try to open it.
Oh.
See, can you open
No,
it?
no, I'm pretty sure.
Rip
the
it
moisture-
apart.
Yeah, yeah.
That's glued.
I can
That's
give you-
intentional.
I can give you another envelope. That ain't
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah, but that's intentional. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it coming to me like that. When nobody else received it like that. Nobody received it like
I
that.
can't say, I don't know.
You know,
We'll take care of it.
Well, you need to check the people that you got working down there in your clerk office. I tell you
What
that.
we'll do is
And then-
put it out there on our website as well, just in case if anybody else, Dwayne, did get it.
Well, they know
And we
the
don't want them
report.
to open it.
yeah.
Yeah. we
And
don't
then-
want them to
and then
open
my
it.
next-
This is the first time I've heard.
To you.
No, I meant.
Uh,
Attorney.
Attorney,
Yes, ma'am.
my question is to you. As a
But can I make a, can we,
I'm
can we
sorry.
respect, this is what happened the last time. Everybody was talking and stuff happened. Can we at least allow her and him to talk so that we all can hear?
Yes.
Be respectful of that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Mr. Westbrook, if you are if you are in the town, and I'll pause your time too, by the way, so there won't be no misunderstanding. And if you are in Abida Township, you can just drop it in as well.
I know I can do that.
Yeah, but I'm
I
just saying.
don't
with
appreciate you coming to me like that.
Well, I can't control what
I
happens
don't
in the mail system
appreciate,
happens, though. I'm
you
just
know.
giving you options of how it can get to me, and I can validate it.
My question to you, sir, is as a Freedom of Information Act, I want to know the amount of money that's paid to everybody that's working in the township office here. I want to know how much they've been paid, how much they went over budget. I want to know how many people is making more money than the firefighters, the police officers, and they are jeopardizing their lives. They're putting their lives on the line. And then as far as being physical, or whatever you want, how you call it, I can't pronounce it right now, responsible. I want to know if we can rescind some of these raises that was given so we can stay on the budget. Some of these raises that they gave themselves so they can, they always talking about, oh, we got to be physical responsible, but they weren't. They were spending money like so when they retire, all these insurances, they getting free insurance. We paying for it. They getting they're getting a pension that we're paying for. And I really want to know what is coming out of this township. I want to know.
Right.
Because
So,
I
sorry,
want
I
to
don't
know,
wanna
as a
interrupt you.
Freedom of Information Act, I want to know, the residents need to know. I'm one of the residents that want to know.
ma'am, so, yeah, so in terms of a Freedom of Information Act, do you have a portal on the website or?
Yeah,
is-
we have a thing that they can fill out, or like I said, they can. We take that as being formally said now, what she just verbally said.
Right.
Okay.
So it actually comes to me. And then,
Okay.
so I can
Give her
listen to what.
information.
Yeah, I can give her information. Like I said, if she could stop in and so I can actually see that was a long list of things. But like I said, I look on the video as well to.
Then we can get our police officers and our firefighters paid.
Thank you.
Got it.
Any more public comments? Dr. Shields?
I want to just share my thoughts and appreciate all of you because whether,
The record, just state your name.
I'm sorry,
Address, yes.
Burtis J. Shields, 3477 West Coldwater Road. I want to appreciate you guys. I understand the pressure that you're under because I sat the same seat you sat in, but in a different position as a commissioner. Never had any experience. However, I have quite extensive background in ministry, also working for General Motors for 30 years. I've been a contractor for 22 years. I graduated with several doctorate degrees earned. So I'm overqualified for this. I don't get a lot of money. You don't get paid what you should get paid as well. I think you deserve more. But I want you to know who I am, and I want to know who you are, because I think that we need to know one another in order for us to do the best for our community. I represent more than just myself. I'm the president, overseer of the Gathering of the Shepherds, over 40 pastors that I represent standing here right now. Not only that, but there's many other pastors, Detroit, throughout the country that I've fellowship with, that I know. My biggest concern for this community in which I grew up in, I graduated in 1974 from Northern High School. I'm 68 years old. When I graduated from high school, I didn't stop going to school until 2010. Received 3 PhDs, earned PhDs. I'm also the senior pastor of the Resurrection Church. Also have a college that I'm establishing. So I'm well qualified. I'm overqualified. And I don't want to stand up here and be redundant or to make you think that I'm all of this or that. I'm just a servant of God. I'm a servant of the community. And I believe that you need men of the cloth to help to build this community. What I've seen since serving a partial term as a commissioner, I've seen good. Not everything is bad. You guys are doing a great job. There's great accomplishments that have been made under the leadership of Supervisor Sims, under your leadership. I think if we would come together and get to know one another, you don't know me, like you said, but I like to know who you are. You need to know who I am so that we can work for the community and be the best for the community. You made a valid point. I've been watching you guys, and so have the other pastors been watching on YouTube. We're watching what you're doing. The votes got you in there, votes get you out. So I didn't say that to threaten nobody, but what I'm saying is, let's work together. You guys are doing a great job. There's a lot of accomplishments that have been made, but you said something. You said that the census were down. That's why we weren't getting the money, because we don't have the report to show to the government that we have the people. So what we've decided to do, the group that I work with, the pastors, we're going to do our best to get the people to get out and vote, to get that census up where it needs to be so we can get money in this Mount Morris Township.
Yes, sir.
That's what we got to do.
Outstanding.
And that's who I am. That's what I want to do. I'm going to say this, but this is my resume. 68 years. She'll give it to me if she wants to. She'll share it. So thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll be back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Any more, Miss, Wright? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Board.
Good
evening.
Good evening, Supervisor Sim. Yes, I wanted to know. Oh, yes. Hello. Yes, my name is Allison Wright. I live at 1441 Katy Drive. And my road on Katy Drive is just horrible. I mean, I've been out here over like 20 some years. My roads was never like this. I mean, it's just going down, down, down. I was complaining to the former supervisor about my roads. Now we getting little opera funds, and what is your name? Brian Baxter was wanted not to do my roads. I don't know what street you live on, or none of you guys, but my road is horrible. I have older people, and if I bust one of my tires, I know the township is not going to pay for it. Especially if I come out my driveway, it's a big hole, and I know. And if I call and complain, who's going to take care of my tires? I just want to know. So if I bust my tire, and if I bring the receipt up that I went and paid for it, because my tire is probably like $600, $700, would you guys pay for it? I just want to know. I went up to Lansing. Matter of fact, my road's supposed to have been done on the last go around, but I guess it wasn't enough funds. So now I know it's some funds, so my roads definitely need to be done. So I appreciate if you take in consideration to get Katy Drive roads taken care of.
Thank you, Ms. Wright.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Sean Zernhout with Scozy LLC, 4184 Pier North Boulevard, which could probably use some repair also. Adoption ordinance 2023-03. Quick question, is that effective immediately?
Oh, we're talking
No,
about
it's,
the
30
marijuana.
Okay, can you speak into that?
30 days from publication. So now that it's been approved, it'll be published, and then 30 days from publication, it'll become effective
Probably published within a week or so.
roughly.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Rashonda Williams, 2279 Toby Beth. Happy New Year, everybody. I just have one thing to say. Dealing with the roads. I hope y'all don't keep putting Band-Aids on them. I know in Beecher that our pipes underneath our roads are a problem, why they always keep coming up. So when y'all go out and do however y'all get the roads looked at, can you make sure that the pipes underneath is done like they're doing it the right way instead of just throwing a layer of tar over it? Because you got to think about the wintertime, the plows, the weather and all that is going to tear them up. But if they're already water underneath the ground, they're going to keep tearing up, and it's really wasting money. I'd rather for y'all to spend the money and do it right instead of just putting a Band-Aid on it. And that is all, and y'all enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Hearing none, we're gonna move to
Attorney report.
attorney report. Do you have anything, John?
Just
Go ahead.
John Ryan from the McCone Law Firm. It's myself and Matthew McCone are operating on an interim basis as township attorney. Appreciate the board having us for having me for the meeting tonight. Tomorrow will be our first session of pretrials down at Central Court. We're going to try to work on the files as best we can and keep moving. And then Thursday we have our first scheduled jury trial, though we are looking to get that resolved. But we're going to get to work, try to keep everything as continuous as possible, working with Chief Veach to make sure that everything stays consistent, whether we're interim or if we're lucky enough to get the long-term contract. But we want to make sure that everything is running efficiently while we're here.
Thank you, John.
Welcome.
Okay, we're down to Fire Chief, Station 1.
Just want to thank the board for the approval of the truck. And just keep in mind that in the near future, I've been talking with Latrell, we're gonna have to replace our air casting system, which fills our bottles. We Band-Aided it, the company Band-Aided it. And they no longer do anything with it. It's 33 years old. It's been here since Buck Trigger days. I know what Trigger is. I know Larry does.
That was wrong.
Huh?
That was wrong when you threw Larry under the bus like that.
Oh, well, you better wrong. But it's our machine that we put our air bottles in to fill up back up with air so we can go into a house fire. What we have now is not working. We've been utilizing the other few stations as much as we can, but it becomes, when it takes us to fill 10 bottles, it takes us almost 2 hours. So you look confused, Dwayne.
No, I was just thinking, just saying, no, I know this might be off topic, but I didn't know you guys are sitting on all that money, right? So I was questioning that money cannot have purchased none of the stuff that the ARPA money had purchased throughout the year. No, just I was just thinking. No, my mind is just ringing. His head is ringing. Is the turnout gear, for instance, the money that you got that you could have used as a down payment for this truck. You mean to tell me you can buy turnout gear, nothing like that, that's going to save your life?
We bought turnout.
In addition. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
No. So no, I was just thinking about my.
So are you talking about the surplus that we were supposed to have? You've been on this board for over 3 years, and usually it's the fire department out there begging to buy something. I had to beg personally myself to spend $30,000 of the ARPA money, and
No, and I get that with the ARPA money, but I'm saying is there's some money out there that you get from the millage that's just sitting there.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah. Right now.
So I'm just saying that none of that has come before the board to be spent on anything that you.
No, the
need
reason
to
the reason
decide.
that hasn't been brought up is because Latrell has put in for a grant through the distressed cities and whatever that township villages, and he's hoping to hear something in March if we get that grant. If we don't get that grant, we're going to have to replace it before April. I'm holding out as long as we can for the grant.
How much is it, the cost basis on
It's
the?
right around 65 grand
Okay.
to replace it.
And right now, they don't even make parts for the machine anymore. They actually made a gasket last time out of automotive gasket to try to fix the head. It worked for about 2 days and then it blew. And it's just,
I don't know if you really understand. So, for instance,
no, I guess I'm not really
You're not understanding me. I'm saying that Mr. Baxter saying we could put half that payment down, half
from
650 some thousand. We could put half that down.
we talking about the truck or we talking about something else?
We're just talking about now. We're just talking about the expenses to pay for the truck. That 300 some thousand, we could have just talking about paying it down so it can save us money in the interest, right?
Right.
You feel me here, right?
I'm hearing you.
So that 300 some thousand, on all I'm saying in my mind is that we done use all this ARPA money to fund all these different projects, and y'all got 300 some K to put down on a fire truck.
That's out of our millage money.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can use the millage money to pay for none of the things that you have issues with and within the fire department. For instance, turnout gear.
We used ARPA funding.
I know that, but I'm saying, but you still have a stash. I'm not.
Oh, I was unclear of, we just found, I was unclear at this time. I mean, you're asking financial stuff to me that,
No, I'm just saying, we're ARPA money. But you're saying that you have all this money to buy a truck. Take the ARPA money out. If we didn't have the ARPA money, how you couldn't use that money that's here to pay for all that turnout gear, all these cameras and all this other stuff?
Cameras are done by a grant.
Cameras are done by grants.
Irregardless. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Let me help you out, Scott. Please. Yes, the fire.
He's
fire-
beating the wrong guy up.
The answer to your question, clerk, is yes.
Yes.
The millage is for fire operations. Whatever they need within the fire, that millage money could buy. Turnout gears, compressors, lights, helmets, boots,
So now we're
hoses, and
saying
all that.
we use ARPA funding, not knowing that was there. Or
I
it
think
wasn't
we,
presented like it.
I'm
I'm saying, but it wasn't presented like it is. Like we can make a big deposit for a fire truck. Is what I'm saying. We got that much money to make a big lump sum for the fire truck.
According to the audit, the fund balance on the books.
Could move.
We're saying
That
we
is
do,
an-
we don't.
That,
Well, I mean,
I understood the treasurer to say that it wouldn't be a good move. I understood
Right,
that,
no,
that not to be a
no.
good, wouldn't be a good
We
move
don't
to
want
take
to
off.
alleviate our cash. We're trying to hold on to cash.
right.
There's a difference between having money in the budgets and having spendable cash.
Yeah.
yeah. That's what it is.
And the number, again, I want to put in context this fund balance. 22-23 audit by Yo and Yo as of March 31, 23 has a line at the end of each one of the funds, which what the fund balance is. That is representative of liabilities and assets across this entire municipality. What's in the bank is representative of what cash on hand. And so that's been why the conversation has been directed as to where there is available, accessible cash. And that's been ARPA thus far. But to your question to the chief, absolutely. The fire millage is for fire suppression, fire operations. And they could have bought turnout gear and whatever else they need. And they have. They have all of their salaries. That's where they come from. Fire millage. All of the runs that they're doing, fire millage. Every day, the fire millage is paying for something. That the fire, long as those fires are, long as those 3 stations are open, that is fire millage money being utilized for those operations.
And as far as a fund balance line item on a financial statement, accounting wise, that is assets minus liability.
Yes.
For
That's
sure.
all it is. It could change tomorrow.
For sure.
So it's not set in stone that you have that cash.
I see that, but that it was big down payments was been thrown around here. I'm like, hey, we use ARPA money to cover all that stuff. I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, it's a
that's what
great
I was
point.
going
I
to.
understand where you're going.
through my
There.
head.
Great
No,
point.
because you were saying the
That's why
same
I
thing,
did
but
that.
you were
That's why.
stuck on that ARPA fund nugget.
Yeah.
I'm saying, what if we didn't have it?
Right.
How would these things would have been brought? And he's basically saying there would have been an avenue that we could have done it.
Right through the millage money.
So we
Yes,
made
sir.
it seem like there was no avenue.
Oh,
So that, you know
no,
what I'm saying?
no,
So
no. Yeah,
that
you
goes to
could-
play to all the other answers.
And if we should not get this grant, you would have enough money to spend this 65,000 on what you need, correct?
That's what I think.
Yeah,
So
correct.
we're trying to hold out as long as we
Right,
can
right.
to hopefully cross our fingers, because I would rather use grant funding,
Well, yeah.
to
course.
save the township money.
Thank you.
In other words, we trying to hold on to the money. If we got some grants, we're gonna
Yeah.
use the grants to save the money.
Right.
Cash in hand is better than,
Yeah.
that's it.
For sure, yeah.
So we just trying to hang
Thanks for the
on.
Heads up, chief.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I noticed that, Brian left, so Elmer, go ahead. Jason left, so go ahead, Elmer.
Yeah, you had a fire run. One thing as far as the fire department, since we're talking with the financial director, my understanding last summer, we had a big meeting out when COVID was over the cost recovery. We was out in the pavilion. I thought this board agreed and voted on putting each fire station their own line item as cost recovery, because my understanding from the treasurer, it has not happened yet. And we still trying to figure out where the money, cost recovery money is.
That's not true. In your next statement that you get at the finance committee that I'm asking for, you will see. the
Okay,
revenue.
okay. Because I was just told it wasn't done yet, so, okay. Other than that, I showed everybody pictures of the kitchen being done. I worked on it pretty much most of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and I'm gonna
Great
start the
job.
floors tomorrow. I had to put some self-leveling stuff down because the one corner of the fire hall, the cement sagged, sunk. So I put some self-leveling stuff on the floor to make the refrigerator set level, but other than that, it's getting pretty close to being done.
Thank you.
So do you hire out, Elmer?
Huh?
Will you hire out? Can we hire you?
No, you already asked me about your kitchen.
Okay,
You
we're
did a great
down
job.
to police chief. Oh, okay, hold on, Scott.
I forgot to mention, we did get the pavilions.
Yeah,
winterized
taken care of
today.
today.
Yeah, I'm gonna discuss that.
Yeah.
Totally forgot. about it.
Yes,
It's all
okay.
done.
Okay.
I got nothing.
You-
No blue.
Okay.
You got a half hour.
We're down to board members' comments, and we're gonna make this real quick because everybody ready for the game. Okay.
Go
I-
blue.
Okay, we have cabinets. They've cleaned out the rooms upstairs, getting ready to make some moves for the clerk and for the assessors department. They've done that. We have cabinets. Mr. Wilson and I had talked about putting them on, is it
Marketplace. or-
Marketplace. So if anyone wants to purchase a cabinet versus throwing them out, because they are actually in good shape. We just gotta come up, I think, what did we say, possibly $20 for the large
Yeah, these are
ones and 10
filing
for-
filing cabinets.
but you can
not
still use them
kitchen
for other
cabinets.
things. Yeah, to store other things. So we said 20 for the taller ones and
Yeah.
10 for the little
Like
shorter.
you see, I've seen them on Marketplace before, and they're not a hot item to sell,
Right.
you know.
And so we may
This
have-
building, they're
Yeah,
from this
mhm.
building,
Yeah.
and our police and our fire don't need any?
I
Well,
don't
if
think so. I think
we'll
we
put it out
just-
there. I don't know. I'll check with the other officers, but
And also.
because somebody mentioned about scrapping them, I says, no,
No,
I
we can-
cannot scrap.
we can
You know,
talk
they're
to
good,
them sold
they're good.
To a business, someone who's starting a
Right.
business out, we probably can get them sold. Clerk, was there some like dividers or something that you guys may possibly
Well,
have?
we're still in the process of moving to seeing what we want. We just talked with
What you
that
know,
with
okay,
Elmer,
so we'll
yeah,
just come
just
back
wait
and
till-
do this
Yeah.
at the next meeting
Yeah,
and put
put
it
it all
all
together.
some figure, put it all together. Okay, okay, let me see. Okay, this was another thing that I
About
wanted
10.
to bring to the board members. Board members, I want us to be mindful when we're in the building or when we're talking to staff. Because it has been brought to my attention that some of the staff feel like some of the board members is kind of talking, they say sideways but just be mindful that even though they're our staff, they're still people, we're no better than them. We all work for the township.
Right.
So let's just be mindful as how we communicate with our staff, okay? The other thing I have, okay, no, we've already addressed it, the truck. Okay, I received a call from the Attorney General's office this morning. The Attorney General called in reference to Bob Bucko. If you guys remember, when we first got on board, Ms. Masters brought it to our attention that we were paying double for risk management insurance, and it was like at $400 and some thousand.
That's right.
So right now, the Attorney General is ready to make an arrest. They called today. They had some questions and some concerns. And I'm gonna pass this down to you all. He sent me this letter. This letter had come from Mrs. Ashley. The clerk and I actually had somewhat sit down and we talked about it. My concern, and this is what I told the Attorney General with the letter, is that on this letterhead, you know, if you see the letter was dated December the 30th, 2020. Remember, guys, we were here. We
Right?
came on in November. Look at your letter heading.
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong. And I'm the first one to say it's wrong because we're not going to get caught up in whatever this is. Now, the clerk did say it looked like possibly Mrs. Ashley cut and paste the letter heading, but you got to be mindful of when you have a new board, everything needs to become new. The old goes away and everything becomes new. And so they are investigating, they're waiting to hear back from me because I did call Mrs. Ashley today and I spoke with her. And she told me what she said. You know, she said that in this letter, if you see, he stated quarterly. Can you see where he said quarterly? Mrs. Ashley said that was supposed to be in a January and a February payment, 2 payments. So Mr. Allen is searching and he is looking. I don't know if he found it probably in his report. He'll tell us what he came up with today, if he came up with anything, because they were looking. So once he give me, if he find it here, when he find, I need to contact the gentleman from the Attorney General, because right now we're at 200, I think it's some $1,000, Mr. Allen, is that what you said to me?
It's 250,000,
That Mr. Buckholz
359.
owe us.
Right.
So once they settle their case with him, then we're gonna give it over to Chief Beach for him to take it to the prosecutor and see if we can get some of our money back. So I just want you all to know that the Attorney General reached out today. They're about ready to make an arrest. And so these were some questions that they had. So I'm just waiting to get the information from the clerk. And I think that might be all I have. And I think that's all I got. Just wishing everybody Happy New Year's. Good to see you all back in the township. 2024 is going to be a totally different year. So glad to see each and every one of you. Mrs. King.
I don't have too much other than just to say Happy New Year and thank the residents for coming out and letting your concerns be known to this board so that we can move on it. We appreciate each and every one of you. And I would have one request, and that is for 2024 is that we all show each other a little bit more love. Thank you.
Ms. Loper.
I kind of almost ditto what you're saying. Happy New Year's. And I have the same request. One of the things that was near and dear to my heart is that we had microphones so we could hear each other. But we can't hear each other if people are talking in the audiences or us. When somebody's at the mic, at least give them that respect. Because if you're at the mic, you want that same respect. But if it's a lot of sidebar conversations, it's hard for us to hear. It's hard for you to hear. So I'm just asking that we be real mindful because it's very difficult to hear when we got a lot of side conversations going on. That is it.
Mr. Allen.
Oh, yes, just another footnote with this piece of paper that Ms. Sims passed out. Another thing that I presented to her too is that back in the days, all our letterheads was already pre-printed. So what it looks like is that she stuck it in a printer as well and typed it up on a computer and hit print. That's why you see the date slid up as far as it was. So a lot of that, when I first came in, a lot of those things was pre-printed. And when Shauna Gilbert came in, she redid the whole little, as you see, letterhead. The new letterhead that you see today was Ms. Gilbert had came up with it. So that's an old letterhead that was already pre-made and pre-ordered. You type it on your computer, you put in a printer, and the letterhead was already established. So that's why you see the date looks like somewhat like a cut and paste kind of thing.
And I think that's why the Attorney General is saying it looked like the paperwork was forged. So, yeah.
I do have a cleaner copy that was presented to the Attorney General's office, but I haven't found the signed copy as of yet. Like I said, the file is about 2 phone books thick, old phone books, yellow pages thick. So I'm going through it paper by paper. So yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and Happy New Year's.
Mr. Wilson.
Just a couple of things. Thursday and Friday, myself and 2 of my firefighters, Mark Verhege and Tony Sopko, come up here and move the assessing office over into the old mail room to give room and access for a big room for the clerk's department for their election stuff. So I just want to thank the 2 guys that come in and help volunteer 2 or 3 hours of their time to move this. Then Friday afternoon, I received a phone call. I no longer got back to work and received a phone call from Deputy Clerk Mrs. Masters that we had water spraying in the back by the pavilion. So I come racing up here. In the meantime, as I was driving up here, I called our maintenance man, and he assured me that he winterized the bathrooms in the water. Somebody must have turned the water on in Station 1 that supplies water out there. So I come here, went inside Station 1, talking to Mr. Hillerman on the phone. I shut the water off. Me and Chief Hillerman today went there, met the maintenance man out there to find that he poured some pink antifreeze in the drains, but he never blew the lines out. And if it wasn't for me and Mr. Hillerman come in here, I made him go get some pink antifreeze. The toilets in the women's John was still full of water, was not blowed out. Two of them had stuff that I don't want to talk about. It was never flushed. Anyways, the bathrooms are all taken care of. Just be thankful that we didn't have the cold part of winter this year we had last year, because we would be spending 10 grand in them bathrooms because everything would have been frozen, broke, lines would have been broke, but it was not winterized. There's one broken line out there that feeds the pavilion where they get water. That's got to be fixed. Somebody walking through or something called her. She called me. I come racing up here. So there is a water line that needs to be fixed, but it could have been a lot worse.
Right.
Sticking the air clean, it's getting all that.
Putting air in it and blowing all the water out of the lines. What he done, he showed me what he done. The water that comes out underground comes up into the center of the building. He shut the line off there, which stands up off the cement about 8 inches, 10 inches. But there was still water in them pipes, and there was still water in the pipes in the building. It should have been blowed out. So we would have, all them pipes would have been froze solid and split and broke. It would have cost us a fortune if it wasn't happened to be caught. So I don't know what's, same with the bridge, I don't know. We got a problem there too now. So we need to start doing something or finding out what this maintenance man's doing that should be doing what he should be doing. Because it's going to cost us. Also, I want to thank Mrs. Masters for bringing up, because I guess I was told about this 2 or 3 years ago or a year ago. And so like I say, if she wasn't doing her job that she's supposed to be, that wouldn't have been found, because I don't, how long has this been going on? Do we know?
It's been over a year.
Right. So
No, we talking about before we even found out.
before we found out about it. So, that was a lot of money that this guy was scamming from us. So if it wasn't for her looking through stuff, it wouldn't have been found. It wouldn't have been brought to our attention.
Right.
I'm close. It's almost game time. Kickoff's at 7:30. Michigan's go blue. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I just have one thing. A lot of the board members, we've been discussing this GELC contract that was done about a year ago and the raises that transpired in that. Dora and I have talked, Baxter and I have talked, Dwayne and I have talked, Wilson and I have talked. The raises were astronomical. And the highest one was $9,600 over a 3-year period. The lowest one was $3,700. And some of these people haven't been here more than 2 years.
Right.
It was absolutely, and I appreciate what you said, Mrs. Westbrook, because in my opinion, and this is my opinion, these kind of raises should not be made in the general population. If anybody gets those kind of raises, it should be police and fire. They risk their lives for this township. The police and fire is the greatest asset that we give the residents of this township. I've talked to 5 labor leaders over this county. MTA said the contract should have not been signed and it should have been brought to the board. That's their ruling. I've talked to 5 different labor contractors that work with labor unions, and they've all told me it should have come to the board. But if a contract is signed, there's nothing you can do. So we're stuck with this, ladies and gentlemen. And I would like to make a motion at this time that we have on the books that no one, not Mrs. Sims, no one is to sign a contract that is going to affect the finances of this township unless it is brought to the board to be reviewed and discussed. Do I have a support?
I'll support it.
Thank you. Mr. Eller, call for the vote.
Also, when we do that, send it to me so that can be part of our policy.
That's fine.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
I got a question. When I said that, are you talking about union contracts?
Yes, that's
Union
that's
contracts, I'm
primarily,
talking about
yes.
clarification.
Anything that affects the finances.
Okay.
Oh,
I have a
that's
hold
two
on,
different
yeah.
things.
That's
because
gonna
I-
be more
because I-
than
because
union.
I
We
wanna
already
make
got
sure
something in
before we
place for
do
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got something.
We already
Because I
have,
was about to say,
we
don't we
have-
sign them
Yes.
anyway?
Yes.
All of
and
us
we-
do that
that's
anyway?
right.
So are you?
But labor
are-
contracts, no, we don't all sign it.
Okay, because I think we better have clarification.
Okay.
So you're
If
talking
we
about
already
the
have it the
GELC.
other way, then
So
we
we
should
talking
say
about
labor
this for
contracts.
Everybody, if that's the case, because we're getting ready to negotiate with the police
That's right.
department and all that. So if we're gonna do, we can't just pick and choose what we just say contracts then. We can't pick and choose. Let's say contracts.
I feel that it should be all of us boards, no matter what kind
That's
of
right.
contract it
That's
is, because if it's the
Okay.
contract, they're getting paid.
Yeah,
right.
we're bringing them before the
We,
board.
we come to the board, if they mow the grass or they plow snow, it all comes here.
Yep.
So why not have them all?
Bless
I
you.
agree. I guess I'm a little confused. That's what we've been doing all along, is what I thought. I
No.
mean,
No,
so
the reason-
when it's a employment contract, it comes before the board. If it's all these other contracts, they've been coming for the board. What contracts did not come before the
this
board?
contract, you voted on a tentative.
the GES.
When the final one was written, it did not come to the board, and Mrs. Sims signed it. That settled everything.
Well, we know that the attorney said that when it's TA, so we've been over this. I think we need to
Right.
just. they
Well,
contracts
the
end
fact
next year.
is, we don't have the money to pay these kind of things, but we're
Well,
gonna have to. That's the
okay, so-
point.
We got the motion and support. We got to vote.
That's right.
Well, they gotta make sure it's changed to the right wording.
Right, we
Right,
can't
right.
just.
Well, I would say labor contracts.
There we go.
There you go.
I still support it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Baxter,
Yes.
Ms. Sims,
Yes.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Loper.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Oh.
no, Mr. Baxter got to talk.
Oh,
You didn't
sorry.
talk.
I'm sorry.
Go.
You took all the time.
I'm sorry.
Just want to thank everybody for coming out and wish everybody a happy new year. Hope this year will be great. So looking forward to it. And that's it. For everybody get home.
Motion to
and watch a
adjourn.
game.
Drive safely.
Support. Make sure you shut your mics off, please.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Sims,
Yes.
myself, yes, Mr. Wilson, Ms.
Yes.
Armstrong, King, Loper, Baxter,
Yes.